Mr. Hariom Rai joins us now, Chairman and Managing Director of Lava International. Mr. Rai, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Your sector, which is the electronic manufacturing sector and the smartphone sector, is getting a lot of attention and a lot of big push because of government's PLI schemes and Atmanirbhar campaign. When we spoke last time, the Atmanirbhar idea was an idea and PLI schemes were proposed. But now the fine print is coming out, and fine print specifically for your sector is already out now. What do you make of the fine print, and has on-ground movement already started in terms of a push towards smartphone manufacturing in India?
Yeah, so what we have to understand is, first of all, at a more fundamental level, and then on these schemes like PLI which are coming. So fundamentally, there are a bigger geopolitical context with which the world is moving, and also with the rising per capita income in China, there's a lot of push to shift manufacturing out. As a country, we are the best suited country for the world to manufacture in India. Looking at our democracy, even the Chinese entrepreneurs are thinking that they should be given a chance in India to manufacture and supply to the world. So fundamentally, we have everything in place. What needs to be done, and which government has actually started with the PLI scheme, is to kickstart the manufacturing ecosystem and take it to a level wherein, India production is globally competitive. And that PLI scheme has already started doing. If you see, the investments have started coming in because of the pandemic. The pace of the investments have slowed down because there are issues which had to be managed. But investments, like companies have invested whatever they were supposed to be investing in the PLI scheme. The production is a little slower because of the initial hiccups of doing anything new. But if you see from here, if we put our act together, next 3 decades can be 3 decades of India. And if we don't do that, we'll miss this chance forever. From the last 400 years, we have been missing the chances. And I sincerely feel that, the government is ready in terms of understanding that what needs to be done for, to build the country, build the large enterprises, etc. So things are moving on, but it takes time to really show some difference, in time to come. It's almost like a country building at a very large level. Yeah.
Now, 16 firms in the sector you represent, they've been identified. Smartphone manufacturing is something which is likely to move higher in India. What should we expect in this calendar year in terms of a movement, setting up of factories, getting the technology back? Because the process has started. When will it gain momentum?
No, so normally, it's almost like an infrastructure building, which actually initiates when you start, putting in the machinery, you start hiring people. Already, all these things are already on the way. And when you're talking about momentum, actually, it's like the curve is like the compounding curve. It's slow. It's in the beginning, it's very slow, very this thing, and then it goes like a hockey stick movement. So we need to wait for the hockey stick movement to come. Next year, 2021 is going to be a decent year for the manufacturing, but 2022 is going to be 2023 is going to be a phenomenal year for the manufacturing, in India, and also design. Which government is planning now, which is going to come very soon. So it's just the beginning, I would say, for India. While we can say the PLI scheme is just the beginning, it is almost like showing as to what all is possible and what all from the government side we are ready to do. So you will see the momentum coming in the next half, in the second half of this year, and in the 2023 onwards, 2022 onwards, yeah.
Okay. Also the government's expected to increase custom duties on consumer durables. That's in the budget this time around, possibly. I know you said it's still some time away before we actually pick up momentum, but anything else specifically from the budget that you think we can expect this time around?
Generally, on our side, because from our industry point of view, we have been working very closely with the government. So there are not going to be any, special things because we are working even beyond budget. So if we're not just waiting for the budget for things to come. The schemes like PLI have come beyond the budget. So for us, there is nothing which we are expecting in terms of any dramatic negative or positive. But generally, the entire focus of the government, if at all the customs is going to be put, it is going to be put to ensure that the manufacturing happens in India. So that's the general direction I can see. And that is very much important for the country to actually build this, to take on to this momentum, which is going to come in India's favor, and ensure that every single thing, whether these are consumer durables or even equipment as small as, let's say, set-top boxes, which is just about $1 billion of manufacturing. But we must not leave anything in electronics or anything in whatever is possible. We must build in India. That's the time for us. So therefore, if the government is going in and putting certain duties on certain other consumer durables to ensure that the manufacturing and design starts in India, I think that's more than welcome from my side.
Okay, and would you also be looking at tying up as a contract manufacturer with global manufacturers, or focusing on manufacturing your own brand? Post the PLI approval, what's really setting you apart as well?
So if you see, first of all, we have to see Lava in the context of India. And the context of India is that we are, let's say, even the Chinese per capita is not that high. They are about $10,837, but we are 1877. So we are 17% of Chinese per capita, and let's say US that 60,000 plus per capita income. So what value we can bring to the world? Actually, anything valuable, we can make it accessible. That's what we can bring to the world, because our per capita is low because our skills are little less, not little less, but quite less at the moment. Actually, that's the reason why our per capita is low. But is that a value? It is a value. And how can we utilize this value and give it to the world is the first which is there for India. Now, what for Lava is concerned, what we need, this business we are in is a business of scale. You need to really create a very large scale to be globally competitive. So as a company, what we are thinking that we have to manufacture, we have to have a very large supply chain base from $1 billion company, unless we are at least $20-30 billion company in long time. I don't think there is any value of being in this business for long, because that's the bare minimal, I would say, the starting point for a company to be in this mobile business. And therefore, the scale is a must for us. So looking at that particular strategy, it is important for us to also tie up and partner with those who are actually not doing scale in the world. I'm not going to take names because we are under contracts and obligations. But yes, as a company, our strategy is to ensure that we utilize the power of India of this per capita. We utilize the power of the people who are, I call them PhDs, the poor, hungry, and desirous people, who are actually willing to do whatever necessary. And therefore, even on the productivity terms, some of our people and our lines are doing higher productivity than even China. So utilize this and create scale. And therefore, a part of our job is to also do contract manufacturing. We have tied up with the top of the top in the world for doing this contract manufacturing, as well as, ensuring that, creating a brand out of the country. I think these two pillars are going to be very important for Lava in time to come.
Did you just say that you're planning to IPO? I just want to get that right on record.
No, I didn't say that we have a planning for IPO. I didn't say that. We are, these are just the financial
Would that
people.
be in consideration at some point?
No, I'm as a person, I'm truly a business person. I really don't understand the financial things much, if you ask me personally. But IPO is a means to create some value for the company, and for what it does is to give you money to spend in the long-term returns. I think at the right time the company will definitely look for an IPO. But I think I can't comment on that right now because we are not prepared to comment on that right now.
Sure. You know, businesses such as yours have a large dependence on imports as well. Tell me a little bit as to how is it that you're trying to bridge the gap because of the pandemic and now this increased emphasis on reducing the dependency on imports from China. How is it that you're trying to bridge the gap here?
No, I think we have to, as a country, first of all, understand that who we are and what we can do, and more importantly, what we cannot do. And my job is to make the country understand the real truth. So, first of all, it's a global supply chain. It's not a supply chain linked with any one country. And in the global supply chain, let's say if US has, in our business, US has about 10 to 15% value being added in the hardware in the supply chain. Europe has 5 to 7% value. Let's say, Korea, Taiwan, and Japan has about 30, 35% value, 40% value, let's say. So still about 40 to 50% value lies in China. And the creation of value is a process of long term. It's not a process like this. Because it's a creation of skill. And we have to understand that it's not knowledge, it's a skill. And skill is a process which takes time to be acquired. So if China has acquired certain skills, then in those skills, there's nobody in the world who can compete with them. Unless we have those skills, coming to India, unless we have those values of the skills coming to India, we cannot be globally competitive. There's a potential. So what as country we are doing, we have in very short time acquired certain skills. For example, in charger manufacturing, we are now exporting back to China. It's a process. Now, if Chinese guys will try to manufacture chargers and really, try to compete with us, eventually, we'll be able to outcompete China. So it's a process, and we are at the very nascent stage of our journey. What needs to be done is to, put our heads down, work very sincerely, and don't try to, speak too much. We understand that we are the nascent guys. We are just the beginners, and we will take time. But look at the opportunity on the other side, how certain behaviors are being done by the entrepreneurs in China. And, the opportunity for the Chinese entrepreneurs also to come in India and to utilize the democracy of India, to have a place which is outside of China. I think we need to have those skills. And therefore, we have to be thoughtful. When China was building, Taiwan was there, Korea was there, Japan was there, US was there, Europe was there to help them grow. Now China is a $15 trillion economy with a lot of skills acquired by them. I don't think we can make India grow by cutting our ties off with China. It is not right. We have to understand that. We have to be thoughtful and mindful rather than angry or such kind of things. So we have to just put our heads down, do the right things, acquire skills in 10, 15, 20 years, and then we can say, okay, now we are ready to be truly Atmanirbhar. And Atmanirbhar is actually completely Atmanirbhar. If at all it is going to be there, then you will not be competitive. And when you will not be competitive, we are 18% of the global population and just 3.2% of the global GDP. We cannot take our share from the world, So therefore, we need to be competitively Atmanirbhar. That's the most important thing for us to do, And therefore, relying on those supply chains are going to be very important. And we will do the right things. I'm very sure about it.
Okay. Hari, good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us today.